Hi, welcome to Sweet Dreams Wellness Travel. I am Barbara Tuckett, your host, and the owner of Sweet Dreams Travel. I am a wellness travel specialist. I believe that our mind, body, and spirit all play into our well-being, and I create travel experiences which improve your wellness so that you return from your vacation with more health, more happiness, and more connection, both with those you've traveled with and also with your destination. In these episodes, I explore travel and wellness experiences, giving you ideas and recommendations, and also interviewing people who have firsthand experience of the places where you may want to go next. Welcome, let's get started. Hi, welcome to today's episode. This is number 34, a multi-generational family reunion in Punta Cana. And today I am so excited to have Haley Trujillo. Welcome, Haley.
Hi.
Hi. Haley is going to talk to us about this whole process that she and her family went through. She was the main planner, and we get to hear all about their great trip that they had. She just got back recently from Punta Cana. So, all right, are you ready to jump in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So first of all, because I love to specialize in wellness travel and kind of a wellness theme, I'm going to ask you, what aspect of wellness do you think that this trip kind of helped you with, Haley?
I think it definitely initially it was a connection with family. We were trying to get everyone in our family together. My parents were serving a mission for our church for 18 months. And I have recently had two siblings that moved back to Utah. And so really, I think our whole goal was to just have that connection again, just to get together in a place where we could relax and have fun and be in warm weather and just have connection.
Oh, that is wonderful. So yes, and you kind of gave us a little sneak peek into who all went. Let's jump into that and tell me about your family. First of all, where did your parents go?
So they served a mission initially in Chile and then got sent home during the pandemic. And then they were reassigned to Little Rock, Arkansas. And so, yeah, like I said, they had initially thought it would be really fun to go on a trip together. And because I love to travel, I thought, hey, I'll go research and kind of get some ideas around where we want to go. And I'll start doing some legwork. And so my parents were like, great, why don't you just be in charge and we'll be on our mission and you can plan. And when we get home, they got home in September. So we planned it about a month from when they got home and started there.
Mm-hmm. And so where are you in the family? Are you the oldest? How many siblings do you have?
So I'm the oldest girl. So basically I'm an oldest child in some ways because I have three older brothers and then two younger sisters. So total, there's 6 siblings.
Mm-hmm. And this big group, tell us how many there were total and kind of talk about your initial ideas for where you were thinking you may want to go and those types of things.
Yeah. So we, putting it out there to the family, everyone said, yes, let's go over fall breaks. We had to kind of find a time that would work. There's 41 people, that's including parents, siblings, children. So all the people. And there are only 3 of the nieces and nephews that didn't end up coming. They weren't able to come because of school. So we had a big number to deal with. And, initially we were looking at maybe renting a big house, an Airbnb, if we wanted to do an all-inclusive or just do a hotel somewhere, if we wanted to go to Costa Rica, if we wanted to go to Hawaii. We were trying to just figure out the best place that would accommodate all ages. We ranged in age from my parents are in their 70s down to a 9-month-old baby. Most of the people that went, most of the kids were, teenagers, but we did have a good range. So we were trying to kind of qualify that as well with what types of what we wanted our vacation to look like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a big group. It's like a big deal to be able to get something that the teenagers are going to love that also is easy to do with a baby or little kids.
Yeah.
There were some of those too. So eventually we kind of narrowed it down, and I did give you other options like for Costa Rica and Hawaii and things like that we were talking about, but eventually we kind of decided that the all-inclusive idea might be the best. And I think just mostly because it just works so well to accommodate all the different ages and all the different stages of life that everybody's in. Is that kind of what you found?
Yeah, for sure. In a few years ago, we went to Newport Beach and we rented a house with the same side of our family. And we found that for the moms, we did a lot of lunch prep and we did a lot of coordinating all the activities, and we were kind of on top of each other, and it was really fun. We had a great trip, but we wanted it to be a little different than that. We didn't want it to feel like a trip. We wanted everyone to feel like we were on vacation. And so we started to kind of lean towards all inclusive, and the location. We've actually been to Punta Cana, so I knew that it was, a beautiful location. I feel like it's similar to Mexico, but Caribbean. And so you get the beautiful beaches, the beautiful, warm water. It had a little bit of a different feel. And because a lot of people have been to Mexico, a lot of my family have been there. We wanted something different. We also were working with rainy season in Costa Rica. Quarantine issues with Hawaii. So it's kind of a tricky time with travel anywhere. So Punta Cana ended up being, pretty seamless actually with the requirements.
Yeah. And I love that Punta Cana is similar to Mexico in that they don't have a lot of hoops that you have to jump through and a lot of requirements in order to travel there. It's pretty easy to get people there. So yeah, so that's great. Okay, so let's jump into the trip itself. So is there anything that you want to mention as far as flights? I guess I'll just interject before we start that not everybody was on the exact same flights. We had a little bit of variation. Most people were on similar flights, but not everybody arrived at the same time or on the exact same flights, just due to different family things that were going on. So anything with flights that you noticed that went well, or hiccups that you had along the way, or anything like that?
I would say the only thing, and not everyone cares about this per se, but the red eye flight can be really hard for younger kids. A lot of the flights to the Caribbean, I mean, there's flights everywhere that have tons of red eye, like going to New York and Hawaii, and you're going to have a red eye involved there, but not every flight is red eye. So I would say if you do not like red eye, to find something that's not, or the little kids. I think some of the kids did okay and some really had a hard time. So just knowing like how your family travels, I think would be good to, be mindful about going into flight prep.
Right. Because sometimes when you have older kids, it's not as big of a deal. Of course, it's not easy on anybody, but with little kids, that can be a big deal. And of course, the alternate is, I guess the decision is when you're deciding on flights, do you do the red eye and get there in good time that first day? Or do you spend pretty much all day flying that first day, but at least it's during the daytime? So that's
right. And cost is a factor too. Sometimes it's like, well, we'll just grin and bear it because it's going to save us some money. So there's, there are a few factors there.
Yeah, for sure. But everybody got there okay. And getting to the resort, did the shuttle work out all right? Did everybody get there all right? Or were there any issues?
No, we got there, went straight, followed the directions you gave us as far as when we got to the airport, what to look for. The guys in the orange shirt, we walked out of the airport. Of course, a million people are trying to get you to go to other areas. So that was good knowledge to have. And found the guys in the orange shirt, and they took us right. There really wasn't any waiting time. Besides the fact that my brother-in-law left his phone on the flight.
Oh no.
And so, but we were really impressed with the transportation crew. He took my brother-in-law. They went straight out, and, you know, obviously he knows the airport and the people. So he was able to go straight to the runway, like where the airport or where the airplane was. They had already cleaned it out. So then they went directly over to the JetBlue, like, I don't know, terminal or desk, and they had his phone. So besides that, but that, I think that was, you know, a good experience in that, they were really, really helpful and helped him get that. And so we did just wait, but that was unforeseen circumstances.
Right. That could happen anywhere. Yes. And luckily it had a great outcome.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Because that's just a hard situation, no matter where you are in the world.
Exactly.
So, okay. So then at the resort, let's just touch on really quick. Did you notice any accommodations that they were doing for the virus, like cleaning procedures or social distancing or masking and that kind of thing? Like when you checked in, and then just overall at the resort, what did you see that way?
I didn't, besides, you know, sanitation, you know, sanitizer stations at the basically everywhere you go, any door that you go into, all of the workers are masked, and going into any of the eating establishments, you had to have a mask. They weren't super vigilant on like making sure you kept it on once you were in the buffet line.
Yeah.
But going into the restaurants, you had to have a mask, which, you know, when you're walking around in your swimsuit and stuff, it was a little challenging with that, but I appreciated it for sure. That those things are, you know, in place. It didn't feel super restrictive or super lax either direction. I feel like it was smart with how they ran it.
Okay. So it was a little bit annoying to have to carry your mask around if you had your swimsuit or whatever. If you'd been down on the beach or at the pool and we're just going to go grab something for lunch. But otherwise they weren't like super hardcore about making sure you wore it while you were outside or anything like that.
No, we didn't have to do that. And they did have masks there. So if you didn't have it, they would give you one. So
that's good. That's good. Okay. All right. And we haven't even mentioned the resort you stayed at. It was called the Royalton Splash Punta Cana. So let's just dive in a little bit and talk about the resort itself. We want to hear plenty of details, whatever you want to tell us. I guess, first of all, I'll just kind of set the stage by saying originally everyone was booked in just the standard rooms at the Royalton Splash. And then as we got closer and we're almost ready to, you know, have you guys leave, it was just a couple of weeks before you left, we started looking at the different room categories, and everyone decided to upgrade to the Diamond Club room, which provided a few more amenities. And so, so everyone was in the Diamond Club. You had one brother and sister-in-law that upgraded to the sister property even, called the Royalton Punta Cana. And so anyway, but for the most part, tell us as a group, were your rooms close together? Kind of tell us that kind of thing. Tell us what your experience was at the resort.
Yeah. So we got there, they took us into, because we were in the Diamond Club, you get priority check-in. So first of all, the Diamond Club for us was worth it. So I would say, yes, I would highly recommend the Diamond Club in our experience, because when we came in, we had a large group. They took us right into the Diamond Club. We'd been traveling all day. We had cold drinks, we had snacks. There were tables that we sat at while we, you know, went through signing forms, and, you know, there's obviously a lot of documentation, getting our wristbands, and it was so nice to be there. I did notice anyone else that checked in was just at the desk, like in the lobby. And yeah, there's the bar and you can get a drink, but I just felt like it was that little extra. It was like a separate area, and it really gave us a sense of like, hey, we're getting some priority benefits here of being in the Diamond Club. So right away we felt like, oh man, that was worth it.
Good. Good that you kind of were fast tracked a little bit into
Yeah.
the check-in process.
Yeah.
That's great.
And the resort itself was beautiful. It's well maintained, well manicured. Like I was impressed with just the look of it right from the get-go. It was a beautiful property. When we were checked in, we had immediately our butler. So you get a virtual, but I don't know if some of the things they do are virtual. He's an actual person though, so that he's not virtual. But ours was Edwin, and he took care of our whole family. And he was the one that helped check us in, gave us information. And then he took us on the tram and kind of drove us around a little bit, just pointing out certain things, which of course you don't remember. Sometimes takes time to,
right. A little overload at the beginning.
Yeah. And the property is, like you had mentioned, there's the Splash and then there's the Punta Cana. The Splash and it kind of runs this way. So the beach, is the furthest. So you have the check-in lobby and the Splash, and then you have the Royalton Punta Cana that's by the beach. So just to kind of give you direction. Right. So he took us to our rooms, and the funny thing was there were two of us, so me and my sister, we went to our rooms and there were people in them already.
Oh my goodness.
So my husband has experienced, this before, and he just said to Edwin, we need a room. We're all tired and gross and sweaty. And what are you going to do to get us a room? What are you going to do to help us out, basically? So he, and Edwin was great. He upgraded us to a nicer room. And it only took minutes, really. It wasn't long. It wasn't like we were sitting around waiting. They immediately got us into a room.
That's great.
So we had about 3 to 4 of us kind of clustered in one area. One sister was far away, which was where we would have been, but her room was available. So she got left over there, which I think if we could have gone back, we would have moved her closer because she was kind of like the only one out there.
Yeah.
And then there were 2 or 3 families upstairs in the upper level.
Okay.
So we were all in the same area, took the same tram together, and we were directly across the Diamond Club rooms. Were directly across from the water park. I would say that we overestimated the time we'd spend at the water park and underestimated the time we would spend at the beach.
Oh, okay.
That really wasn't that important. The water park, we went, rode a few rides. It was really fun. It was really fun. Like I loved that part. But for the time spent, I would have preferred to stay. Everyone agreed they'd rather stay closer to the beach.
Okay.
And then you just walk over to the water park. It's not
right.
And there's a tram. Some family used the tram, some didn't. We walked a lot because there's a beautiful path. There's ducks and turtles and birds, and it's lit at night. It's an easy path to get over to the other resort, the sister resort.
Okay.
The sister resort was actually our main gathering place, which was where all the restaurants were, because a lot of the restaurants in the Splash were not open. And if they were, it was like kind of weird, different days.
Yeah.
So the buffet at the Punta Cana was better than the one at the Splash. So we mostly just would walk every day. We would just walk over to the Punta Cana side of things and spent most of our time there and used the restaurants there, and the beach, and the Diamond Club bar at the beach was amazing. They had awesome food, awesome drinks. We spent a lot of our time there because it was right by the water. So great.
Yeah. So, and I guess everybody's different. So you can't say for everybody that that's how it would be, but for sure, I guess what I'm hearing is that if you hadn't had the Diamond Club upgrade, you wouldn't have had access to everything that you did. Right.
Correct.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So that Diamond Club upgrade was totally valuable.
Yeah, for sure.
Totally worth it. Okay. All right. So anything else about the resort or the rooms or anything like that you want to mention?
No, the rooms were nice. They're your basic tile floor.
Uh-huh.
The beds were fine. They weren't like overly comfortable, but they were good.
Yeah.
Um, they did a great job cleaning and stocking our fridge. We didn't want alcohol in our fridges, so we requested to Edwin actually that we just wanted basically Diet Pepsi and water and Coca Light, and they delivered.
That's good.
So that was nice. He was really good about that. And he also did, just back to Edwin, he booked all of our reservations for our dinner.
Yeah.
And it was a little hard to communicate just through WhatsApp WhatsApp. That's what we used to communicate with him.
Right.
Because he's translating from his known language and to
Yes.
art. And there was some miscommunication with what we wanted, but he did so well. And we had a birthday and an anniversary. My parents' 51st anniversary was while we were there.
Uh-huh.
And he did an awesome job of providing a dinner for all of us where we could all be there at the same time, which is pretty hard to coordinate for 38 people.
Yeah.
And then he had the waiters came and sang and brought a cake, both for the birthday celebration and the anniversary. So that was really special. That meant a lot to us.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Okay. Just, you've touched a little bit on restaurants. What did you do most of the time for your, obviously for breakfast and lunch, you could do the buffet, or you could do wherever you were at the beach or the water park or wherever. But for dinners, what did you do? Did you eat together most of the time or separate, or what did you do?
So I guess the rule is that typically you just can make reservation for 8 people. Sometimes you can increase that based on the restaurant, but we didn't really eat together unless we were at the buffet.
Okay.
And we did do the buffet, 2 or 3 nights. And then the other nights we went to the restaurants, and we would just split up into families.
Uh-huh.
Everyone kind of was okay with doing that at night because we would gather afterward. There's a show every night at 9.
Uh-huh.
And so we'd kind of meet up after dinner and talk about what we wanted to do that night, and whoever wanted to go home and go to bed could, and if anyone wanted to stay and go to the show. So that was really fun. There was like definitely nighttime entertainment. So we kind of had to split up groups with eating.
Right. But it sounds like you were together enough for other activities or different things during the day that it wasn't a huge deal that you couldn't eat together every night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and sometimes I think as families, if you've got little kids in your family, you may want a different type of meal than if you've got teenagers too. So,
right.
So that probably.
And time, you can eat anywhere from 5:30 to 8 p.m. about. So that did. And with excursions. So sometimes it's adjustable, and it was nice that we could kind of pick and choose. And if none of them worked, then the buffet was always open. So
right. So that's great. Okay. So let's move into excursions. What kinds of things did you do off property? And were you happy you did those? Did you wish you'd done anything differently? So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So we, initially we decided, because we had such a big group, we were going to just wait and decide, if some families wanted to go do, excursions, who wanted to do it together, and that we just coordinate that when we were there.
Right.
Which ended up working out just fine. My brother did a deep sea fishing excursion, and several of our family members went and did that on 2 different days. And it was a really great experience. They loved it. They caught like a 91-inch marlin.
Wow.
One of them caught a tuna. So it was awesome.
Yeah.
Great experience. They loved it. There was a 4-hour excursion and a 6-hour, and they did both of them. So either one of those that was a really great thing for the boys, and some girls went too, but not everybody went. But they did that. And then we did a family excursion, and we went to Sayona Island. And we were able to have our own private catamaran take us out because of our group size, which was so fun because we had our own crew, and we were able to like hook up our phone and have our own playlist. They brought snacks and drinks. So you take the catamaran out. It is about a 45-minute drive to get to the the port where you leave from. So that was a bit of a drive. It's definitely a full day activity going out there. Take the catamaran out to the island. The island itself is beautiful. I honestly feel like the beach at our resort was just as beautiful. So it wasn't like we were experiencing something different than what we'd already had. It was just nice to get off the resort and do something different.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we snorkeled, which was so fun. We were able to snorkel, and then we took the catamaran. We were at the island. They feed you lunch. It was really good. Everything felt really safe and prepared well. They have a lot of people that go to excursions there. I think it's one of the top rated excursions in Punta Cana.
Yeah.
So they do a good job of coordinating all that. And then we went back to the catamaran and went back home. And I think we got home, we left at 7:30 in the morning. And I want to say we got home around 6.
Okay.
30.
So,
it's pretty
just in time for dinner pretty much. And
yeah.
That's good. That's good. So that was the big excursion that everybody did.
Yes. And then a couple of families did do the dolphin swim. I think that was it. I think that was the only other excursion. And I didn't go on that, but they all said it was awesome. We've done it before, but they loved it. They interacted with the dolphins. They swam with them, all the things. They said it was awesome, especially for the younger kids.
Yeah. That's really fun. That's great. So, well, awesome. So it sounds like you had an amazing time.
We really did.
Overall. Is there anything, just kind of to wrap up, is there anything else that you can think of that we haven't talked about yet, or anything you would recommend or do differently or do the same if you were going to repeat it?
I would think the only thing is we'd probably stay in the sister property.
The Royalton Punta Cana.
Yeah. And there's also a hideaway. So it's a couple only, which we saw that and it was beautiful. They had a couple like exclusive pools, which looked amazing as well. So if you were just going as couples, then that might be an option too. Yeah. But the resort itself was great. I felt like with the climate in the world right now, some restaurants weren't open. There's less staff, but we were understandable in that. And I thought they did a great job of, having enough things open. There was plenty of food. We never went without food.
That's good.
That wasn't an issue. We did have a couple people get sick, but nothing crazy, just typical GI, a couple of days of that stuff, but nothing that felt like it was unsafe. I think it's anywhere that you go all inclusive, even a cruise, that can be an issue.
Right. You're eating something different than your norm.
But we really did love the all inclusive for the age ranges that we had, because the little kids who were picky, there was plenty to choose from. Room service was actually really awesome. And we did room service a lot. If the kids didn't want to make it to breakfast, they'd just order room service and have it in the room.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. That's probably, I think that's overall, I would say there's always going to be a few issues here and there, but we all came home just feeling like the purpose in the vacation was had by all. We had a great connection. We felt like we spent lots of family time together. The kids and the cousins were able to go swim and go to the beach and, do all the things. And we felt like that it was well worth the effort and the money and the time that was spent to plan this. It was definitely a trip of a lifetime. I don't know that we'll ever be able to coordinate something like that again with some people,
with everyone's schedules and everything. Yeah. So that's great. And I'm so glad that even the moms didn't have to be in the kitchen worrying about what to prepare and what to fix.
Exactly.
All of that everybody got to relax. So that is wonderful. So, well, thank you so much, Haley, for talking to me about this. And
thank you.
Yeah, I'm so glad. Yeah, so glad that you had a great time.
Thank you.
and that it all worked out. And yeah, it was a lot of planning. We started planning this. I don't know. I don't even remember when we started planning. Was it like 8 or 9 months ago? It seems like.
I think it was March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a while ago. Yeah. So it's great that it finally all came together and that you actually got to go. And
yes.
So
yep.
that's wonderful. Yeah. So thank you so much for talking to me about this and being able to share your experiences.
You bet.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you later. Thanks for joining me today. If you've enjoyed this episode, please like, share, subscribe, or leave a review. If you'd like to contact me about a vacation, the best way is to visit my website, sweetdreamstravel.net. To connect on social media, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, or LinkedIn. See you next time.